Hey Rosie, want to see something that I'm working on for a class assignment?
Sure, what do you have?
Well, I found this post on Tumblr of a picture of teenagers in Denmark who killed dolphins on a specific day of the year as a rite of passage into adulthood. By the time the post got to me, a lot of people had reblogged it and commented on it, all of which got sent through.
That's terrible. Why would people do that?
I don't know, but the reason I chose to use this post for class is because there are a lot of people interacting with it, both through reblogging it and commenting on it to show their own followers.
Yay, that is cool. At least the people who follow them find out about this, unlike the majority of the population. It is also an interesting thing to come across. I can see why so many people have reblogged it. I hadn't heard about it before now.
Yay, which is interesting when talking about how much active participation goes into using a website like Tumblr.
That kind of reminds me of the Andrea Lunsford video you showed me. The one you watched for class, remember?
Oh yes. Do you mean the part where she talks about the fact that students found that the most preferred the kind of writing that was trying to make something happen in the world?
Yes, I found it interesting that Lunsford found the most thoughtful and provocative writing come from blogs that were submitted to her. Tumblr is one of the digital forms of a blog out on the web, but includes many other facets which people can incorporate in addition to simply writing text. Oh yay, you showed me that video too. That was something called life writing, wasn't it?
Yes, which also ties to my favorite part of the video. At the end, Lunsford explains that the internet has impacted life writing a great deal because of the fact that audiences are everywhere. She furthered her point by explaining that social networking sites are helpful because people who use them know that they are writing to a real person who is on the other end. Moreover, because so much writing is going on, Lunsford explained that it is difficult to tell who is the author and who is the audience as both intermingle often online.
You know, that reminds me of a part of that long introduction you showed me, the one your professor wrote for her book. I remember a part discussing the concept of everything being writing because it is placed at the center of human interaction. Oh yes. That way, writing becomes a cultural practice, which is so much more than just a tool for communicating thoughts. This makes writing cohabit with identity construction, relationship building, and community involvement, according to Professor Arroyo.
Yes, those points are both in Professor Arroyo's introduction. Moreover, she explains the concept of participatory culture within the electorate apparatus. Participatory culture embodies an ecological approach, thinking about the interrelationships among different communication technologies, the cultural communities that grow up around them, and activities they support.
Oh, that definitely applies to Tumblr. When I go on, I can see people posting things specifically for the audience on Tumblr. I myself think more about what I post because I know what kinds of things my followers like to discuss. I can see who likes and reblogs my posts, and I can see how many other people that I follow post similar items.
True. But what is interesting about this dolphin blog post is how people have altered the post just a little bit before posting it, either with providing a comment sharing their reactions or simply by adding to the notes on the post because they chose to reblog it.
That reminds me of the other reading you mentioned. The Mr. Participatory Culture guy, who gave a 4-point definition of the concept. Let me find it for you in the reading. Okay, here it is on page 7. 1. With relatively low barriers to artistic expression and civic engagement. 2. With strong support for creating and sharing one's creations with others. 3. With some type of informal mentorship whereby what is known by the most experienced is passed along to novices. 4. Where members believe that their contributions matter. 5. Where members feel some degree of social connection with one another, at the least they care what other people think about what they have created.
Oh yes. That's Henry Jenkins and his crowd, who wrote the article together. He brought up a great idea, which, Rosie, I think we can implement as teachers. On the 8th page, he explained that the interrelationship among the various communication technologies, the cultural communities that happen around them, and the activities they support.
Yes, I think incorporating the use of participatory culture, which is already online, to the classroom would be amazing. Many, if not all, students already have a great awareness of how to use various things on the internet, such as YouTube, that teachers should incorporate into their lessons. Oh yay, that reminds me of the part where Henry and his pals explain the idea of affinity spaces. They could be really helpful for learning because, as is said on the 9th page, they are sustained by common endeavors that bridge differences in age, class, race, gender, and educational level, and because people can participate in various ways according to their skills and interests, and because they allow each participant to feel like an expert while tapping the expertise of others.
I think you hit it with that ending, Rosie, specifically with the reasons why affinity spaces work so well. I feel that students could learn a great deal from the ways Tumblr incorporates the expert and the apprentice of skills while giving those apprentices ways to participate using their strengths.
Yes, that is true. It reminds me of the PDF you found regarding a mixed media project. Can you refresh my memory?
Okay, you know the project I'm working on. The PDF focuses on the idea of hypertext, specifically the exploration of meaning construction and how identity is explored in nonlinear, database films, which she discusses on page 24.
Oh yes, you showed me that. Didn't she also say that hypertext authors should think about keeping the reader reading?
Yes, she does. That goes along perfectly with what the author brings up in the section she has dedicated to how she used Tumblr in her project, which can be found on page 31. She explains that Tumblr is where she was able to experiment with collecting her videos. She, additionally, wanted to explore how to use hashtags and a customized theme to display her blog. With these, she was able to make her profile easy to navigate for her audience.
I think that brings up a great example of how Tumblr created audience awareness for her, and much more so than a typical essay assigned during the class.
You are so right, Rosie. Thanks for chatting with me.
Haha, you're welcome, Virginia. See you later.